Reverend Bob Cook and I both have a shared message, and he's going to give his, and I'll follow.
I am appalled by many things about what our nation does in regard to the military. And perhaps it is best focused in this tiny bone. It is an unborn baby's leg bone. I don't know. But it represents the most tragic, perhaps, that no one thinks about. Our military, the Pentagon, talks about collateral damage. Well, let me tell you about collateral damage as I experienced it in El Salvador. I lived there for 6 years. I have traveled there every year since 1990. The people of El Salvador say they don't hate individuals, but they don't like our government for what it did. We trained their soldiers at the School of the Americas so that they could commit over 1,000 massacres in that country from 1980 to 1992 during the term of their civil war. The massacre in El Mozote is perhaps the most famous, where over 1,000 men, women, and children were systematically tortured and killed. When I visited El Mozote in 1994, 2 little girls, about that tall, took me by the hand and took me to the excavation of the place where women had been taken. So they were murdered and put in a house. The house burned down. That excavation, those little girls went to, and they dug in it, and they pulled this bone out, and they gave it to me. This represents a sadness that really there are no words to describe. Because who remembers the unborn? Collateral damage just seems to be okay, but it is a pain that goes to the depths of the soul. And I say, the United States needs to quit training torture. They need to quit School of the Americas. They need to quit trying to manage the affairs of developing countries and come home and allow the money that's being committed to the military budget to be used for what it needs, for the needs of the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. I'd like to preface this by saying that I sure wish we were inside President Obama's office today instead of him locking us out, so he could listen to what we have to say about our concerns about this country, and specifically our military empire. I too have a relic, that's what we Catholics call them, from El Salvador. I have here a coin that's a Franciscan coin, and on the back is a swat of the blood-stained altar cloth of Oscar Romero. The nuns that run the cancer hospital where the good bishop lived and celebrated Mass and was gunned down by U.S. ammunition, U.S. weapon, U.S. trained killers, U.S. backed dictators in El Salvador. This is a swat of the blood-drenched altar cloth that the good sisters cleaned up after the bishop was taken. And I was able to get this from a cousin who got it for me, and I hold this dear. This is a man, a Catholic bishop, who had the courage to tell President Carter, a Democrat, to stop sending military aid to El Salvador because it only kills the people. That kind of policy is the policy that this country has been running on since the 50s. And because he said that, within a week, he was gunned down and killed while celebrating the Eucharist, the Mass, for his people. I wear this with pride. The bishop paid a high price for speaking out against the U.S. empire. Nowhere near are we paying that price by being here. And many of us who came here were prepared to risk arrest in occupying this office. The president and his campaign decided they wanted to shut us out. That's okay. We're coming back. We're going to keep coming back. And you know what? We may not tell you when we're coming back if you're going to shut the offices.
That's right.
So that might make it a little more difficult. But I'll tell you this, we're going to come back. We're going to shut these offices, not only Obama's, but the Republican candidates. And we're going to come back and shut it down so you can't keep giving us the lies that your elites buy, and so that we can get our information, the truth of our lives out here in America, the 99%, out into the public domain. You know, President Obama, you can hide for so long, but we're going to find you.
That's right.